I remember that.
Hey guys, welcome to My Hero Academia manga stream. This is chapter 326. It is just me for this one, unless like Mark shows up a little bit later on. He said he'd be late for this one, and that's totally fine. For now, we'll just continue doing what we usually do and see if he does catch up here. But yeah, so as usual, you know, chapter 326 is the brand new one that released. It's been about like 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. Totally fine. It has been a while. So let's do a recap episode, you know. Wait, hold on, we don't have Mark. A recap episode! In which we continue off from the conclusion of Araka's speech about letting Deku stay at UA. And the situation finally calmed down, it would seem, for the most part. Everyone just kind of stopped like shouting at Deku. Deku was no longer getting the danger sense. We had Koda, and we also had like the tall lady coming up just to console him. Tall lady was saying my crybaby hero, and it was so wholesome. But following after that was the panel in which Mark had to, of course, kill the entire mood and say she got thick. And I'm like, bro, there's some things you don't need to say out loud, you know. But you know what? We were then given another cameo of like the same dude that we saw way back in chapter 1, or even episode 1 of the anime, actually. Which reminds me, we should probably do reactions for the anime as well. I don't know if I, like, part of me is not like too certain how I want to go about doing that. Like, unless we have it something like this where the dynamic is that you just see us as we watch it. And I guess that's fine, but I understand that people are not so keen on that. But in any case, let's see. Pretty much everyone was talking about how, oh yeah, Mark's just giving the notification he's heading back. Pretty much saying that we gotta do better is pretty much what he said. The guy who, funny enough, had the All Might shirt was saying like, can you really bring things back to normal? With Deku's newfound confidence, says yes, we'll bring it all back. Nothing, no words from the guy. He just offers the umbrella to poor Deku. I love the page that was shown off, the full 2-page spreader, which like Ida is taking like Deku's hand, Mama Midori is like literally right next to him. The heroes, like all the other classmates, are like kind of pushing not pushing, they're just walking like around Deku, kind of as a very soft security measure, but everyone else is kind of engaging with them as well. It showed Kaminari actually like swiping Bakugo in the back of the head. It looks like he was about to like start something with one of the guys. We didn't get a cut of what was it, Aizawa. Probably, yeah, that's probably an eye patch that he's got now, and he also has not a peg leg, unfortunately, but an actual prosthetic for his right leg. And you know, he seems totally fine with it, honestly. Like from the chapter which he severed off like that leg, he knew for certain like what he needed to do at that point. But in any case, he was talking about like payback. He also talked about Toga and any security measures to prevent something like that from happening. We then see like a shot of what was it, All Might, which seemed to be like at the school grounds but saying nothing. I honestly thought that could have been Toga, because where is Toga, right? But no answers like from that chapter until hopefully this one, which is chapter 326. So we just wrapped up on the recap, and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it after I get a swig of water. So it cuts to the city. Whoosh. I'm not even sure if I want to like do like sound effects for some of these, because sometimes you don't even know exactly what they want you to think the sound effect is, or even how to pronounce that. But anyway, this is I think that's Hercules, right? In any case, it's All Might. He's driving right now. In his thoughts, where are you off to now? I'm checking in on the hero hating groups who refuse to join the shelter ectoplasm. As he shows like cutscenes about like him wanting to join Deku like on his small crusade of just raiding and attacking any villains that might be associated to track down All For One, and also the time that Deku just left, just like that, just like that. In any case, it shows like the cut again. I kind of want to respond to Mark, but I cannot at this point. Like, I'm already too far in. So he reaches out, and Deku's like arm, like hand, just leaves the other side of the panel. As we get another shot of All Might looking at the mask that got dropped off during the whole escape attempt that Deku was going to try to do. As we see a shot of it, I am not here, a statue, and Thin Might with the title number 326. Who are you really? So it gives me an idea of what's going to happen. He picks up the mask. He looks over to the statue. You get just a very simple like panel of just All My fists raised as his, like, you know, his winning position, his victory pose with the sign, I'm not here. He looks at it. So he says, you couldn't do anything for your disciple when he was hurting. Shows a shot of looks like him and Aizawa like in the snow in a flashback. I believe this is him, Aizawa, talking to All Might at that panel. You can live. You could be here. For a lot of people, that's all the push they need. Zooms in on that sign, I'm not here. And All Might reflects, at this point, you're only getting in the way, All Might. As he turns, and then you just hear like just a random like line, just like in darkness, ha. Pretty much to emphasize that like someone's coming in. And boom, just like one whole page of staying like right there, sword right at All Might. And he says, what vile blasphemy against a great hero. Take it back, you witless fool. It's not even dude, All Might, dude, even like in his form right now, he doesn't even flinch. He just kind of looks over like with just eyes only. He says, hero killer Stain, you never crossed my path back when I was still on the job. Our face-to-face meeting got delayed, but I never imagined we'd meet like this. Stain says, explain yourself. All Might, sure. You missed a lot while you were locked up. You see, I am All Might in the flesh. Mark says, you're doing this without me? You said you'd be late, so that gave me the okay to just kind of go ahead. I was kind of late already, so I want to just go ahead and keep at it. But then you messaged like later, like on as I was reading, I was like, it's too late now. Sure. You missed a lot while you're locked up. You see, I am All Might in the flesh. In tiny text. Not that you would know just by looking at me. Got a pretty good look at you. But in any case, yeah, I'm sorry, Mark. I thought that was your giving me the okay, because you know how it feels like, hey, hold on, don't start yet. But sometimes he doesn't say that. Stain says, wrong. You're not All Might. In a crest Sabat voice, I can't blame you for doubting. And then he buffs up for just a quick second, and then he's like, so, you gonna kill me? Or Stain says, no, you're not All Might. You sham. So, absolutely, well, I mean, I've seen a lot of anime and like metaphorical stuff to know exactly what he means by that, but we'll just keep it going. In any case, like he pulls the sword closer to his neck at this point. I love the fact that you can I love how you can actually like show that's him talking with the extra like scribbled out lines for the text bubbles. Good chapter, you're gonna love it. Mark redeemed the drink some water, so I'll go ahead and do that. Thank you, Mark. He continues, Here upon hero holy ground, you dare falsely claim the mantle of hero? Who are you really? That's the chapter, your title. Why presume to call yourself a hero? Speak. All Might says, falsely claim. Fair enough. My whole life, I felt spurred to action. I couldn't sit back and accept it when the madness kept taking from people, when their daily lives were stolen so senselessly. Powerless though I refused to sit on the sidelines. I had to make the world a better place somehow. Stain just kind of continues to like look down at him. It kind of looks like, I think for the most part, like for the it's crazy because like his eyes are always like wide open, but here he's just like really like squinting down at him, just really assessing, I suppose. But All Might continues. But I've run my course now, and this is the end result. A big panel for this little tiny panel of like the destroyed city. I'd give my life in an instant to protect my disciple, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him to take time for himself. Cuts to exactly that big 2-page spread of like Deku being guided by everyone. It's hard to explain, but I feel as if I'm the only one who's become more and more distant from heroism. Stain does not hesitate. He like leaps at him. Almost like, huh? Swoop. That's the sound effect anyway. Oh, this is what happened. He grabbed All Might and pulled him like behind like some rubble because someone was out there visiting the statue. What was this? Oh yeah, no, actually that was me actually like emphasizing what's happening in this panel. It's actually really small, but I'll go and zoom in for me. She gets a close-up of All Might being like, he's still being grabbed by Stain at this point. He says, what's this? From the start, I haven't like felt real bloodlust from him. A warm embrace? I don't know if we're pals on that level yet. Oh my god. A warm embrace? Stain-kun, Stain says, ideal timing. Behold. They did it again. Oh, sorry. God damn, I gotta like read further into it. He pushes like All Might's head out just to look at the statue. Someone out from the distance says, they did it again. Ugh. It shows like a woman approaching the All Might's the I'm Not Here statue. As she uses her quirk, it seems, to just kind of like give herself a head up just to remove the sign. She continues, well, until they get the message. All Might just like stares. It's one of those I should probably drink some water now. There's something about the panels where it's just like a white background and the characters just kind of looking in a direction that somehow like we're treated to understand that as like them like in this like moment of stillness as they come to a realization of something. And that realization for me is the fact that I put this in full screen and I can't move it anymore. But anyway, here's Stain, and you can still kind of like tell that it's him with the speech bubbles, even though it's not like shaky. It's just like it's very weirdly bolded stroke. But he says that every day she purges the blasphemy erected by the hero detractors. I've never heard that word. I've never heard that word. I'll have to look it up later. Well, actually, let's just do that right now. Here, just for you guys. Detractor. A person who disparages someone or something. All right, fair enough. She's likely travels like from a nearby shelter, and causes no small inconvenience to those in charge. All Might risking her life out here, and for nothing. Why on earth is she? Why is that woman? Obviously, that looks like Todoroki's mom. probably is, because I'm pretty sure her quirk to elevate things isn't just like some like whatever mass. It's actually like probably ice or snow. Why is that woman was the last person All Might saved? Oh, okay, never mind. I'll shut up right now. I'll shut up. I'll shut up right the fuck now. Why that woman was the last person All Might saved, and this was actually okay. That was the it was the sequence, and that's kind of crazy that when All Might's form was like revealed to everyone, because he shielded her from the attack from like All For One during the Hosu attack. I believe that was the city. In any case, it's pretty much that like epic fight that went down, and it really was like the last person that All Might like saved, like with his buff form. Although he's done efforts to save other people as well. Still, this is why you need me. Shut up, the fuck, Mark. I was gonna say shut up, Mark. And then the words tripped over. Dot. She said, "Save us." Again, the white background. All Might just in yet another realization. I see like a really cool panel. I'll get to that in a little bit. And then Stain starts shouting at this boy. In the worst of times, All Might would maintain the grin and devote every fiber of his being to the people. Had nothing to do with powers or quirks. The man we knew as All Might, could not live his life any other way. He carved those ideals into his very soul and lauded for it. Who are you to presume to know the first thing about All Might? No, look upon that woman. The end result, you say, his influence lives on. Love how he's just grabbing this dude. Look with your special eyes. And here comes a really cool panel of like all class 1A, as well as the woman like in the center cleaning up the All Might statue. It even shows like Deku back in his like usual and like stylistic drawing, but he is like within the whole like Deku like on his own arc outfit. I was like, man, dude, what a reference to just like the woman like being saved, and how All Might's actions echo even like from the time that he retired. The flickering ember he left behind, Stain continues, is nurtured by those select few who succumb neither to chilling pain or chilling rain nor howling wind, until the ember grows anew into a roaring blaze. Very poetic, jeez. The people must not, Jesus, the people must not let that fire die out, no matter how undignified the struggle. Oh, I got nasally. Excuse me. That's not emotional. That's actually just physically like upbringing. No matter how undignified the struggle, they must stoke the flames so long as they draw breath. She says to herself in a, it looks like a mutter, "I'm doing my best. You too, okay?" That hit. All right, that hit. I was like, damn. But Stain continues his conversation, like his speech here. A hero can only claim that title as long as his soul burns fiercely in service of others. However, say a god has fallen, prostrate upon the earth, and his divine soul has turned feeble and mortal. All Might just says, "What? You saw that? All this time you've been..." "No, I don't presume to know you. If you are a true hero," as he throws his sword like to the ground, "make use of this information from my time in Tartarus." What the fuck? Still crazy as fuck, right? But there's some sense in this dude. But anyway, he throws the sword not just to the ground, but also like a piece of paper, just having a bunch of information, presumably, of his time in Tartarus. He just has like one look at All Might. "Then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes. All for the sake of fixing society." Tears just run down All Might's face. You don't even see his eyes. The woman looks up, clear skies are showing up as she says, "Oh, the rain's letting up." Very poetic of a chapter. To be continued. I'm gonna double check here. Viz has not really been like great right now as far as letting me know exactly when chapters are coming out for My Hero, but that could just be like a simple like conversation thing where it's like we don't really know exactly when it's gonna come out. For me, it always kept saying like 2 days left for the past 3 or 2 days, but this one says like 7 days. So we're expecting to see another chapter this like next like coming week. So great. He threw him info. Yeah, I was very aware of that. When he finally said like in bold. Sometimes I like sometimes I actually just follow like the imagery before like the conversation happens or the lines delivered. But in any case, this is honestly a very unexpected encounter with like All Might. Obviously, I knew that he and Stain would eventually, meet. I just didn't expect him to just wait until like, All Might like caught up to like the All Might statue. I think for the most part he just has been just watching, right? I think he even said it too. He says like, what was it? Hero claimed the title for a very soul bird fiercely in service of others. However, say a god has fallen, prostrate upon the world. His divine soul has turned to turned feeble and mortal. I'll be honest, I am not entirely sure like what he's referencing and why All Might specifically like responded like to that. He said, "What? You saw that?" Like I think is he referring to obviously not things that just happened in this previous chapter, but he's talking about like the confrontation like that Deku had or he had with Deku, because obviously he saw that. So, but honestly, as poetic as like Stain has made it, it's kind of made it hard for me to understand exactly like what he's referencing in some of these lines. But in any case, Stain as just kind of seen in like the previous time we saw him, has been someone who's been kind of lurking in the dark and watching the events unfold. He's very well aware of like what Deku's doing. He's not really holding any type of like feelings like of animosity towards Deku in this one. He's specifically attacking and challenging All Might, the current All Might of his ideals, really just kind of testing him, because in the end Stain is following his ideals to a T. He wants to make sure that Hero Society in the way he sees it prevails, and for better or for worse, it's actually like a pretty like idealistic one in probably most eyes. That's why he had a lot of followers in the first place. And so for him to approach this All Might, and of course like he has a very extreme way, like we've kind of known that since like when he got beat down by like our trio, and even prior to that is that has extreme methods of trying to uphold that by literally murdering like heroes that don't like hold like their end of like his ideals. I mean, Lady Nagant, like for example, he might, that actually be really interesting to ask like what his thoughts were about like Lady Nagant's like initial stance, one to work for in service of like what was a hero organization that actually secretly like cuts down like a lot of things that like happen in between like good and evil, moreover to evil. But I think honestly, if you were to like really like take in like all the things that he said like in this chapter, probably not then, right? Because obviously for him like heroism isn't just a job. It's most certainly not like a popularity status. It's just simply like what it is. It's an act in service of the people, to put people like ahead of yourself, and he wants to uphold that. So that's why he's been like really like berating like All Might, denying him that he even is All Might even after like buffing out, because at a certain point it's just as like All Might said right before like Stain was about to like charge at him. He said that I feel like I'm the only one who became more and more distant from heroism. Because he's right. Like, honestly, like, for the quick first panel, which he talks about how, like, for a while, like, I couldn't sit back and just let things happen the way that they did. And even though at that time he was quirkless, he felt like he needed to do something. And going back forward, just immediately after like revisiting that, he was pretty much there to say like, I'm done. He felt that moment where Deku like went on beyond him, like went past, and All Might couldn't even reach. He's definitely reflecting on the fact that he couldn't do anything for Deku. He could be like a good like mentor, and that's actually hit him in a very like close space. And now kind of revitalized with both Stain and like this woman carrying out like what they believe in. It's kind of like reunited something else in him. So I think what's going to happen is that we're probably going to have a follow-up chapter with All Might again, because in chapter 325 it really just shows him like at the front or even behind the gates of like UA, because those are tall as very notable walls. Hold on, I'm not sure what's going on, but the mic is starting to fall down a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to actually like get the chapter 325. Excuse me. Okay, cool. All I had to do was sit back, and technically that was the whole thing. Yeah. Let me just double check that again. Yeah, for sure. Yep, this is him. He's at the walls, whether inside or out, but I think I'm not sure if All Might is going to be giving Deku like a due speech to All Might's going to give like Deku like a speech that he's been meaning to tell him like to take a break and everything. He might. Honestly, he probably will. But I think it also carries more or at least this chapter carries a lot more for him in the sense that he will do even more given his stance. So I don't know exactly what else he's going to do, but I do look forward to seeing in a continuation of like this new resolve that All Might now has, because honestly, for that woman to have the woman that he saved to have kind of like a mysterious like insight in how All Might like himself is kind of struggling. I mean, obviously she's just talking to like the statue, but you know, there's something like very interesting about like that dynamic where it's just her going to a statue that obviously it has a human face to it. Obviously it was just well made, and she's just cleaning it up. And you know, it's not talking to an actual person, it's just talking to an object. But the fact is that she speaks kind of like openly towards this like object as if she's passing the message to All Might despite him not even being there. Obviously this is all like tools used to kind of like move characters as well as move us, right? But in a way, like both Stain and the woman are both pushing All Might forward in their own way. So now I guess also a question is what that information from Tartarus is going to do as far as like help the heroes like on their end. It probably will. Honestly, like for the most part, they know that like how many escapees have like left Tartarus. It's just a matter of like where's everyone and who's aligned with who. And I believe Stain has a lot more insight than, you know, we give him credit for, not just like eavesdropping on the conversation between him, like All Might and Deku, but also just like every single villain listed there. So it's interesting. I kind of want to know exactly what he has outlined for All Might to just kind of like pass along. I think if anything, it might give insight about like any like additional powers or like what makes people like tick or their even mindset. I don't think Stain's one to like outright strike up conversations in Tartarus, nor would there be any opportunity to do so. But I'm curious as to seeing like exactly what and how useful that information can be. But I have a feeling though that with Stain's words, he's going to be a little bit harder to find, and he will come back later on in the chapters, most likely to be apprehended by All Might himself in the same form that he takes right now. So it's going to be very poetic, as he's kind of left this in this entire chapter. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for like my take on like this chapter. I think it's very well written. And translated. Um, Aside from my confusion as to like what exactly Stain has like mentioned in like the second to last page, I'm not entirely sure like what he's referencing. But it's one of those things where it's just like he just knows. He just kind of like knows like a lot at this point. So I'll just take it like as that. And in the next chapter, I hope that it's All Might having a conversation with Deku, either that or Deku finally outright speaking to everyone and his thoughts about how he is now, or just maybe a mixture of both. Just give me one or the other or both, and we're good. But yeah, all right.